How do you feel about Cam Ward saying that him and his team are ass? That's crazy.
I like it, man. I do. I like it. As long as you include yourself in that. If he got up there and called out his team and said they're ass and they're not doing a good job, I'm doing my job, and you have that prima donna type attitude, hate it. But the fact that he included himself in that, I don't mind it. And you got to watch the whole interview because I went back and watched it. He started off taking accountability first. They said, how'd you play?
They asked him was about him.
Yeah, the first question they asked, they said, it's a homecoming for you. How was that? I'm here to win football games. How do you feel you played? Ass. I was ass. I missed too many throws, too many incompletions. Couldn't get the ball going once we got across the 50. Had an interception. In my opinion, that's on the receiver, but he took accountability. He said that interception's on me. And they never got in momentum. Too many penalties because of pre-snap issues. So I love that he took accountability first. And if we're being honest, I mean, he's not lying. They're last right now in total offense. They're last in scoring offense. They're last in passing offense. He's last in QBR.
He is.
He's last in completion percentage.
Yeah.
And he's been sacked 17 times this year. That's more than any other quarterback. They are ass. And I know you can argue and say, all right, look, maybe you get up there and have the PR answer to say, okay, maybe we're not ass. We got to get better. It's unacceptable. You can say that. Bullshit, man. I don't like that because you guys know, and I learned this as a rookie, being a quarterback, you need to be authentic. These guys respect authenticity. If you get up and you're someone that you're not every single day and you pretend to be someone in the locker room and then you're different on the field and then you're different in meeting rooms and then you're different outside of the facility, they will see right through that and they won't follow you and they won't respect you as a leader. And once you lose the locker room, you lose everything. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind it. I like the way that he said it. They're 0-4. They're 3-18. In their last 21 games, I doubt there's anyone in that locker room that would disagree with them. So I like the fact that he took accountability. But I will say this. My message to Cam Ward, too, though, is it upset me a little bit watching that because I just really hope right now what's going on in Tennessee doesn't affect his love for the game because that looked like someone that was struggling. And he started saying some stuff in the offseason, too, about, hey, we're mid. And you could tell he was starting to lose that love in his eyes. And then now he's going through it. I've been there before in Cleveland. You have to have the 24-hour rule. And that is, okay, you're going to lose some games. You're going to win some games. It might suck, but after you go back and watch the tape, you got to turn the page. You got to move on from it because if you start letting that affect you on a week-to-week basis and you never get out of that slump, it is so hard to gain that confidence back. You got to learn from the mistakes that you made, but you also have to grow with the good and take some of the positive because he's done some things well. And he also said that. He said, look, we're doing things well at practice. This isn't all negative. We're doing some things well at practice. It's just not transitioning to Sundays. And it has to translate to win. So I really hope the Titans get it figured out for him. I hope they get some pieces around him, get the offensive line to help him. They get some receivers on the outside. I just would hate to see this kid's career be over before he even gets a chance to get it started.
I don't think he'll ever go in that path that you're talking about. That's not in his blood.
I hope not.
He's a fucking dog.
I hope not.
So you don't got to worry about that with Cam. I understand your concerns, Cody. You ain't got to worry about that with Cam. But
I know where he came from.
As far as his comments, we are ass. I love it. I mean, it's the truth. That's what the team need to hear. It's like Alcohol Anonymous. First thing you got to do is stand up and say, I am an alcoholic. You got to acknowledge the problem. We are ass. I'm ass. The O-line, the D-line, he went down the line, said all of us together. Like Cody said, he included himself in that shit. As long as you include yourself, the team going to feel that. So you acknowledge your problem. Y'all probably going to be ass this whole year. Y'all probably going to get another good draft pick. If they smart, they'll get Ridley ass up out of there and get some more draft picks because he got paid last year and he ass. He lead the league in drops. He got about 130 yards receiving in 4 games. Yeah. And it looked like a guy who got paid and came off the gas. That's just what it looked like to me. You know what I'm saying? He don't got that same burst, that same dog in him that I seen in the past. You know what I'm saying? So I would get him up out of there, get him to a contender right now. We asked, get him up out of here, bro. Let's get some more picks. Let's get a young guy in, somebody who can handle that contract. Hey, if they draft right in the next few years with a guy like Cam, you won't be ass. You know what I'm saying? So I like the comments, man. Hey, it might light a fire up on them, and it definitely make the guys in the locker room lock in and respect them a little bit more.
Yeah, I think you got to just look at, to Cody's point, you got to know his story. He was a no-star recruit who worked his way to the #1 overall pick. That dude ain't got no fold in him. He ain't got no, it's too much for me. Look at where he came from. So when you got a person that's got pedigree like that, and they worked and pushed through and grinded to be the #1 pick, 4 games ain't going to start changing that. And then you just look at, like he said with Bo, just look at how he operates. He did just really go back. At the draft, he didn't have no flashy suit on. The basic suit. What do you have on the press conference? A little mini chain.
Yeah.
Little mini chain, black t-shirt.
Yeah.
He all about the game. And when you have a quarterback, a rookie quarterback at that, that's what you want right there. A person who's taking accountability. Like you said, the very first question that was asked was about, how did you play today?
Yeah.
He had the exact same answer. The thing I love the most, being a defensive player, he never addressed the other side of the ball until he said, we all got to be better. He never said defense this, defense that. He even had his teammates back. They said, well, the wide receiver did that. He said, that's on me. That's what you want from your leader. And he's grooming. Being a leader is not, you can't teach that. It's either you got it or you don't. He has it. And I looked at his comments. What questioned me, it bothered me is the coach's comments. Oh, well, I'm not, concerned. They played hard. So?
Yeah.
The NFL. These millionaires. What you mean they played hard? Like, I'm not really worried about them playing hard. They went and play hard. That ain't good enough. That's what the starting quarterback is saying this. The coaches, he's so, I want to be optimistic. And I'm like, no. That's why y'all out here getting beat to sleep.
Exactly.
Because you hear, they played hard. I have no problems with how hard they played. And man, that ain't good. I done been on these teams where we play hard. Everybody play hard.
Same.
Like, we play hard.
Yeah.
We love to play football. Playing hard ain't enough. So when your starting quarterback is a rookie and he's doing this, you got to look at everything else around. If he's standing up there, he all chained out. You see him on social media all the time and then this and this, and then he get up there and do that. We never see Cam Ward unless it's football.
True.
Everybody anybody who talks about him say he's in the building, he arguing with defense on the field because he this and this. You remember the report came out? Remember he was arguing with Jeffrey Simmons, going back and forth, and the coach is giving him a call? And then he go out there and he executes the call perfectly, even though he's arguing with a defender.
Yeah.
He's cerebral. Like, that's what you want. So like Keith said, get some people out of there, draft well, they're practicing well, but it's not correlating to the game. But that's what you need. You need somebody who's up front and take accountability. There's nothing wrong
with Cam.
Nothing wrong with what he did or what he said.
All right, allow me this. This wouldn't be happening in Tennessee if that were Shedeur Sanders, and it should have been Shedeur. That's just me. I said I like Cam Ward. I love Shedeur. He should have been the first overall pick. That's just me. I want to get that out there again because I was in concrete about that before the draft. With those remarks, they're great, and I agree with what he's made of, because there was an infamous, I'm going to be a little negative here on Shedeur, there's an infamous video out there. They were at the Combine together, and it's being shot for Deion's, social, for Colorado social, and Cam Ward says, I'm paraphrasing, but he says to Shedeur, let's go work out, and Shedeur says, no, I got to go record. He's going to go record some, rap song. And Cam's saying, no, we got to go work out, man. This is it. They're at the Combine. They're in Indy. Yeah. And it was just, it showed you what you're saying. Like Cam wanted to go work out at the Combine he's not going to perform. He's just going to go interview, but he wants to stay in peak condition ahead of the draft. Okay, so I give you all that, but when you make these comments, you have to be careful not to point it too hard at the veterans, or they'll turn on you, because the most ass on the Titans right now has been the young quarterback, and he's a baby. And yet, the one thing I didn't love about him at Miami was, at this level, it's like Caleb. You can't just run around and make plays as an athlete. You just can't. You won't last. Yeah. They are bigger, stronger, faster, especially the DBs, and they're going to close so much faster where you can't get away with, I can just outmaneuver and I can buy time, and then I might just run on you, or I might wait until somebody comes open for a 40-yard catch. Okay, so he tries to do that too much. It won't translate.
True.
And these numbers are staggeringly bad so far, but he's a baby. And I'm not condemning. I'm just saying.
What that QBR say?
Well, it's just the worst. It's a 23.
Yeah.
And the worst is 51% of his passes completed. It won't work, man.
Yeah.
You're not going to last, but he's a baby, and it can change. He's 2 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. But now, situations.
Yes.
It's always about your situation as a baby quarterback. So Brian Callahan's the head coach for a second year. Okay, so he was in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow and company for 5 years.
Yeah, it was the OC.
Under Zach Taylor. And yet, who called the plays in Cincinnati? Zach Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Brian Callahan had never called plays until he finally gets a head coaching job. And I'm like, and you're qualified to do what? You have proven you can do what? So Brian Callahan called plays for Cam Ward the first 3 games and then threw up his hands and said, I can't do it. And I don't know this Bo Hardigree. I don't know if you know of him. I don't know him. I don't know much about him. But he let him call the plays against the Texans, and they got blanked. What was it, 24-0.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's the answer, but I don't know if Brian Callahan is the answer, because is he not somewhat a product of Joe Burrow? Well, sure he is, because you can argue Zach Taylor's a product of Joe Burrow right here as we speak, because I'm looking at Twitter last night.
Product of Sean McVay.
Okay, all right, there you go. It's the same concept. So I'm not sure he's in the right place at the right time, and you could argue back to me, well, Shedeur would be undergoing the same issues. But all of a sudden, that kid Iomanner from Stanford, do you know him?
Yeah, wide receiver.
Listen, they stole him in the 4th round.
Great player.
And all I know is that in Travis Hunter's first year with Deion at Colorado, there was a Friday night game. I don't know if you remember this.
I watched it. He got after Travis.
My wife will tell you I watched it, because she said it was 29-0 Colorado at halftime, 29-0.
Yep.
And I said, just let me watch Friday night's date night, so I'm supposed to turn it off, right?
Come on,
and I
Skip.
said, just let me watch the first possession. I just want to see what Stanford does with the first possession in the second half. And he catches a 70-yard bomb, and I'm like, wait a second. And he winds up, Iomanner, with 13 catches on Travis Hunter all night long, solo. Mm-hmm. You got that guy. You got him. He caught 13 balls for 294 yards. He had completions of 97 yards touchdown, 60 yards touchdown, 30 yards touchdown on Travis. And I'm like, what? What happened? And he's 6'2", 205, runs 4.4, and he dropped to the 4th round, and I don't know what they didn't. I have no idea what they didn't see. But if you put that tape in, you'd say, okay, so at least they've got a little connection going for what it's worth. So he has emerged above Calvin Ridley as the guy right now. He's got the most targets, the most catches, the most yards. So all of a sudden, if you have any hope, it's Iomanner is eye-opening, man. I mean, this is crazy stuff.
That's why they can get Calvin up out of there, man. Get picks for him. I think you get a quarterback like that, you just got to find a way to bring the right kind of guys in.
Yeah.
I thought they had a good intentions when they brought the head coach in. They want that Sean McVay. They want that system. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I thought they had good intentions, and it might not be him. It might not be the play calling. I think you just got to get the right guys in there. And with a leader like Cam Ward, you'll be just fine. It's going to take time, but you'll be just fine.
But that's my worry, and it's no knock on Cam Ward. And I did a breakdown of Cam Ward a couple years ago. He went to Incarnate Word, was the first college he went to.
Was they good?
They weren't until he got there.
Exactly, okay.
But then he went to Washington State.
Did they get good?
Yeah, he turned around that organization. Then he went to Miami.
What they do?
Number one
Turned around the organization.
Wow.
And then he becomes a number 1 overall pick. I'm not worried about Cam Ward in this situation. What I'm worried about is if Brian Callahan doesn't work, say it doesn't work at the end of this year and they get rid of Callahan, or halfway through the year, and then you're on to your second head coach and play caller in year 2. And that is so important, because if that doesn't work, and then you're on to head coach and play caller by year 3 or 4, then you're in trouble. No matter what you do, no matter how good of a leader you are, no matter how good you are in the locker room, no matter how much you get on the press conference and say, we're ass, this is unacceptable, we've got to be better. If you're not surrounded by the right pieces as a young player, it could significantly hurt your development, and that's what I worry about. It's not Cam Ward, the player, it's Cam Ward, the situation he's in. That's the biggest issue I have right now, and I'm just really hoping that the Titans can figure it out. But the last couple of years, I haven't seen anything that makes me say, he'll be all right. They're going to figure this out. Callahan's the guy. They're going in the right direction. I just don't have that feeling. Besides drafting Cam Ward, and some other pieces around him, but it's just, it worries me that they're not going to get it figured out and do right by number one. Because if they don't, and you lose that confidence, not in week 4, but if they go 2-14 or they're 0-9, and you keep seeing these interviews, that optimism, that positivity, it's slowly going to fade. And I'm not saying that he's a guy that can't handle it, but that worries me, man.
Did you lose your love for football in Cleveland, or?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And I'll, real quick, I don't want to talk about me, but I mean, yeah. So I take over, start there. We go 0-8. My first 8 starts. You know, we're struggling. Then the next year, I don't start. That was the 0-17 year, and I didn't start that year. Or 0-16, I think it was still 16 games 16, at that point.
Yeah.
I didn't start a game that year, so I wasn't on the roster. Don't put that on me. But after that, I went to Jacksonville. That was a year after they played Tom Brady in the AFC Championship game. But after that, they started struggling, and I was a part of that roster. And then I go to Philly in offseason, then I go to New England, and then COVID hits, and you know, I'm a free agent after they release me, and they bring some other guys back, and I had opportunities to still play, and this is honest to God true, Skip. I didn't have that same love anymore. I had teams that offered me to go in and be a backup and be one of those guys, you know, as a second or third stringer, compete for that spot. I lost that love because of the first 2 years I had in Cleveland. It really does, man. And I'm not saying I'm built like Cam Ward. He's gone through a lot more than I have, and I would love to have a tenth of what he has in his mind and the personality he has, but I've seen it too many times with other guys who get put in bad situations, who have all the talent in the world, and because the organization doesn't do right by them, they fall off and they don't get that opportunity.
Well, let's talk about the second overall draft pick.